Okay, great. Looks like we've got everybody on the call. One of our core values here at Accurex is Kaizen, which is the Japanese word for relentless improvement. So we have just finished our cycle, and it's super important we reflect on how things have gone. So we often run retrospectives and team sessions to dig into this, and the information is always shared with the wider team. So we kind of just thought, well, why not share this with our users? So we're recording that session today. We've got Hanne on the call, who's our product manager. Give us a wave, Hanne. We have got Emma, who's also one of our product engineers. She's quite heavily involved in this team, and Vivek, who's a clinical lead. So these three are part of our inbox team. Vivek, do you just want to give us a quick explanation of what inbox is?
Yeah, sure. So at Accurex, we first started by allowing healthcare professionals to message outwards to patients. And for a big part of our life, it was very much one way from the healthcare provider to the patient. Over the past few months, particularly around COVID time, there's been a huge amount of inbound from patients. So patient responses to SMSs, patients sending in photos, sending in various answers to questions. And so the inbox is a way to help the GP and staff at GP surgery to manage those inbound messages.
Amazing. Nice. Okay. Hanne, what was the main driver behind this feature?
So when I first joined Accurex, just like Vivek was saying, we only did one-way outbound, and a lot of the users we spoke to, a lot of GPs, were really adamant about how it should stay that way, and that there was a big fear of an opening of a floodgate, or that GP staff are already stretched so thin and they're already so busy that managing a new workflow or having new channels of inbound information would be overwhelming and too much to manage. And we've really seen a shift in the last 4 or 5 months, just that there's been a new appetite for digital solutions, for looking at ways that technology can be used to deliver care digitally. And I think that the inbox is a huge part of that, because now, rather than just having an outbound flow, we also have a way to manage inbound in a way that is clinically safe, is relevant, accessible for the healthcare provider in primary care, and then does provide this kind of hub of communication around the patient, where patient information can be discussed in a safe and appropriate manner.
Okay, fantastic. Vivek, do you want to add anything, or do you think that's...
No, that sounds good. That's
great,
great.
So Emma, what was the biggest hurdle or challenge for you?
So the initial version of the inbox was built by sort of a few more senior developers. So when I kind of joined the team, started working on inbox, I had to become more familiar with the code, because I hadn't worked on it before. So sort of understanding how everything fits together. And I've had a particular focus on sort of the user interface bit, so the actual desktop tool that GPs use day to day. So sort of understanding how the change that one user makes on their tool will influence what others see on their tool as well. So yeah, I think getting input from other developers early on really helps me understand how the code works, and I feel much more comfortable making changes to that area of the code now.
Great. Vivek, biggest hurdle or challenge for you?
Yeah, so I guess I'm at it from a very non-developer point of view. One of the things that was really tricky about the inbox was feeling like we're trying to be proactive with solving this problem. A great inbox experience is not really a necessity until you have a lot inbound. And at the moment, most of our users are still very much sending things outbound with a few things coming back. But as the product expands and as we become more and more used, there's more and more coming in. So what we're trying to do is figure out what users like and don't like about a solution to a problem they haven't fully encountered yet. One way we've overcome that is just through really good designs, iterating quickly, and really just getting a simple product out to users as soon as we can to get some real life feedback into what they like and don't like, so we can improve further.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, Emma, what really stood out to you? Like, what did you learn?
So a lot of the sort of features that we added to the initial version of the inbox were quite complex, fairly chunky. So it was really important as a developer to get input from other developers early, and from like Hanne as product manager and from clinical lead as well. So yeah, ironing out anything we weren't super sure about early on, rather than getting too far through development and then realizing that we had questions that should have been answered earlier. So yeah, getting feedback early.
Great. What's been the most interesting discovery for you in this particular project, Hanne?
So one thing that has been really interesting, I think I have two things that I want to share. One thing that's been really interesting is seeing what an impact a feature that we released, I think it was, March or April, which was allowing just a blank text response, and then we quickly added and iterated on that to allow for a photo upload, how much that has influenced and changed the way primary care can be delivered. And that a huge shift has obviously happened from a standard face-to-face appointment, patient waits in the waiting room, goes up to see their GP, takes a big chunk out of their day, to now potentially a patient being sent this request to send in a photo, those photos being sent in and stored in their record, potentially worsening conditions or bettering conditions, new photos being sent at a later time, and now you have a more comprehensive view of the progression of a physical disease in the medical record, which we didn't. There was no real photo capturing in the old way of working. So this has been really interesting to be able to witness so quickly how it's changed. The other thing that we are discovering, and I think have still work to do on, is understanding how teams work in primary care. It's been interesting building an inbox, given that we interact with inboxes all the time as individuals. We interact with Gmail or Slack or lots of different types of inboxes. But building an inbox that is a shared inbox, which is much more difficult than an individual inbox, and then also one that needs to hold really high clinical safety standards and ensure that messages are not missed, and that the message goes to the right person at the right time, and they're not inundated with notifications but get notified about the things that are important to them. These are really tricky problems to solve, and I think some of the work that we're taking on in the near-term future is about how we can better cater to the types of teams and the way collaboration does work in primary care.
Amazing. Great. Okay. Vivek, what's the best thing about working in this particular team?
Yeah, so it's really great to work in a team that influences the GP product. We know primary care works really hard, and particularly around this time, it's pretty stressful, busy time for anyone working on the front line. So it's just a great feeling when we release anything that helps the day even a little. So a bit like Hanne said about the photo responses, the amount of kind of positive feedback we got from it was just incredible. And it makes our day working at Accurx just that much more awesome as well. It's also really exciting because we're in most GP practices, it's not just healthcare professionals that see the impact. So actually we've seen a lot of people at Accurx themselves or their family get messages from their GP using Accurx, and we know we helped create that. So it's a bit of a surreal but a really nice experience.
Definitely. Emma, did you have any thoughts on this as well? What makes the team for you?
So in particular our team, like, everyone's just really supportive and willing to help out if you've got any questions or not sure about something. But I think we work well because we're not afraid to challenge each other as well, and if there's a decision we're not sure about, we'll talk it through. But anyone, no matter the seniority in the team, can challenge others' views, which I think is good for having a team that works well together.
Amazing. Cool. Okay, well, that's it, guys. That's the kind of retro done. I will share this recording with you afterwards and we can all watch it back. But have a really good day.
Thank you.
Bye.